welcome you to another fun-filled episode. Enjoy the show.
Ahoy there, and welcome to Nautical Tales and Nature Trails, recreation in southeastern Connecticut and southern Rhode Island. I'm your host today, Will Morrissey, and I'm going to give you a little guided tour around these parts. My wife, Bridget Morrissey, and I wrote a book, Nautical Tales and Nature Trails, outlining all the different attractions in the area. She's a realtor racing up and down the shoreline from Old Lyme to Charlestown. She zigzags from Mystic to Mashantucket to Uncasville. She knows all the back roads because she doesn't like driving on I-95. Can you blame her? But anyway, she knows what's going on in the area, and we have so many people moving into the area. There's a tidal wave of new people coming in, whether they're building the submarines or the brave souls that drive the submarines. We've got students coming to UConn at Avery Point, Mitchell College, Connecticut College, all the cadets over at the United States Coast Guard Academy, plus all the visitors to the area. In 2023, Mystic was recognized as the 4th best travel destination in all the United States. Forbes has it in the top 10 this year. So there's all kinds of things happening, and we just want people to know what they can do. And today we're going to go over to Westerly, and we've got Nicole DiMattei here from the Granite Theatre. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you. It's happy to be here.
Oh, that's good. I met Nicole at a Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce event that you hosted. Quite a few people showed up, and you gave us a little preview of the show coming up. But how did you get involved with the Granite Theatre?
So I was a theater producer in New York City, and I have 2 little ones. My husband was graduating with a doctorate degree, and we were just ready to leave New York. So I started looking around, and my producing partner and his wife had moved to Mystic. So we fell in love with the area, and then I started reaching out to theaters to tell them I was coming to town, and I noticed the Granite was looking for an artistic director, so I gave them my resume.
Well, that's great. We've got a video of what goes on at the Granite Theatre. Maybe you can tell us a little more about the story there. Bridget and Michael, can you roll that video for us, please? There's the Granite Theatre now.
So that's a picture from our town. This was amazing. We actually sold out every single performance of Miracle on 34th Street last year. Had to add a show and sold that out within 48 hours. We just did Seussical Junior, which was a group of about 30 kids. That was spectacular. The kids in this area are amazingly talented. I have more time to talk about Seussical. So we also bring in outside events. So this weekend, July 13th, we'll be having the Snow Sisters come and sing some songs for our little ones, which I'm very excited about because I have little ones.
Well, you get them involved in theater very early.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my kids are obsessed with the theater. And then also July 12th, we open The Drowsy Chaperone, which I am very excited about. It's one of my all-time favorite musicals, and this cast is absolutely spectacular. We're running for 4 weeks, and yeah, tickets are selling fast. So it's been exciting. Very excited to open. And then after that, we're doing Harvey, and most people will know the movie. It's very similar, but it was a play first, and super funny. It's also that they've been in rehearsals for about 2 weeks now, so that show's going to be awesome.
When you do these shows, they run 3 or 4 weeks. How often each week do they run?
So they run Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Oh, okay.
So 4 days a week, and we open on a Friday.
Sleuth. That looks like it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's a murder mystery playing right around Halloween, but also based on, there were 2 movies made out of it. And then a 1940s radio Christmas Carol, which is a beautiful telling of the Christmas Carol story, but it's within a play, so it's very funny as well, and touching. It's very, very touching. We also bring in local artists for every show, and they display their work in the lobby. And the artwork's for sale.
Is Jenny Thompson a local artist?
She is. She's in Westerly, and she does beach scenes, which is amazing. and then yes, last year we did The Elephant Man, which is it's an older play, but it was so beautiful and based on a true story, which is a very sad story.
Well, the Granite Theatre does these, they're probably known for a while in Westerly for putting on these productions, aren't they?
Yeah, the Granite Theatre itself opened in the year 2000. Before that, it was the Colonial Theatre, and the Colonial Theatre still operates. They do Shakespeare in the Park, but it's been the Granite since the year 2000, and it's a year-round theater. So we do seven giant main stage shows a year, one of which is a youth program show, and then also other events. Like this year we had the United States Coast Guard Band come in and do their recital. We had a one-night event that was focused on Valentine's Day that had art and poetry, and it was beautiful. This September we're having Bill Knotts, who's Don Knotts' nephew, come in and tell his stories of growing up with Don Knotts. So yeah, it's busy. We do 3 to 4 musicals a year, which are big. And then yeah, The Girl on the Train we did last year.
Yeah, these are all pretty much well known.
Yeah.
I mean, Guys and Dolls.
Guys and Dolls.
Who hasn't heard of Guys and Dolls?
If you haven't heard of Guys and Dolls, we need to talk. So that was our summer musical last year. It was wonderful, so much fun, and the talent in this area is spectacular. We do, for the summer, get to pull from a lot of colleges, which is great. The Diary of Anne Frank they did before I started, but I've heard spectacular things about it. They were able to get a sponsor to bring the show to the children of the area. So it's like during school, so they brought the kids into the theater, which is great. California Suite, same thing, also before my time, but Neil Simon, it's pretty classic theater. But yeah, we do a lot of different shows, and we do have season tickets available. We have half-season tickets available, which are just 4 shows of your choosing, which is pretty great. Shrek the Musical was the main stage summer show 3 summers ago.
Yeah, well, these are all shows that are nationally known, aren't they?
Yeah, I would say, you do have to, I wouldn't say everyone has heard of California Suite, right? But everyone has heard of Alice in Wonderland. So for the most part, we don't do new shows. Not to say that we won't in the future, but for us, it's, when shows have a name, they're easier to sell, and that's, obviously something we care about. This is our beautiful theater. Yeah, oh, hi.
That's right downtown. I mean, that kind of
it's on the
jumps out
hill.
at you,
I know. That was my first time in Westerly. Since 2021, I started producing the performing arts stage at the Mystic Outdoor Arts Festival, and I was still living in New York City and came up for that, and we drove into Westerly and parked at the library, and I saw the theater up on the hill. I walked into the park, and Shakespeare in the Park was there, and I was like, "What? Where did I just walk into? This town is amazing." So, but the theater, it was so funny because that was in 2021, and I didn't apply for this job until 2023. So, I had no idea looking at that theater that would end up being my home.
No, it's a imposing building. That there's some story about a rock underneath it.
Yeah. I stumbled into a ghost story, or like a ghost walk, and I invited them into the theater since I happened to be there, and it was really cool to hear. But apparently, it was built on a magic rock. It was a church originally, and I believe before it was a Christian church, it was possibly a pagan church, and yes, built upon a magic rock. And if you go into our basement, there's a giant rock. The basement is very, very small, but
it's gone up in value a little bit from back then.
Yeah.
I think it's something about $200 they're talking about.
Yeah.
It sold for first,
Yes, yes.
Right downtown Westerly. Yeah, You might get year-round parking for that amount of money now.
I know, right?
No, it's pretty cool that we have arts like that, you know. And we have another video that I'd like to go through with you about the actors. Now, you can explain it as we go along, but how do you get your actors? I mean, do you go to New York to get actors? Do you get actors from local? How does that work?
Yeah, so we are a community theater, so our actors are local. We don't have housing. We pay a volunteer stipend, but we do not go to New York or to Boston to get actors. That's not to say that they don't come to us. Our Elephant Man he lived in East Boston, so he drove over 2 hours to rehearsal and to the shows, but for him, that leading role of the Elephant Man was so important to him that he wanted it on his resume, and he is a professional actor, but Elephant Man isn't done very often, so that was, again, worth it to him to drive 4 hours a day to come to the Granite Theatre. But generally, we are local. I would say most of our actors are within an hour and 10 minutes of the theater. Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Southern Massachusetts.
Well, Michael and Bridget, if we can run that video on the actors, that'd be great. So again, we're over here in Westerly.
Yeah, so this was actually a show that we didn't produce. Now, yes. So Bill Corriveau, he is one of our amazing actors, and he directed Elephant Man, so he does both. These are the kids in the camp last year. Oh, they're so great. And that's me, hi.
Oh, before you go any farther, you know, I gotta say that Nicole, coming from New York, she's performed, produced, directed, and choreographed for almost 20 years. She co-created 4 off-Broadway shows, 2 of which made the list of 100 longest-running off-Broadway shows of all time. And I think are they both still on the list?
I haven't checked the list in a while, but I believe they
Westerly
should be.
is so lucky to have somebody with your background.
Thank you.
Running this, so.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, but here's the
So that's
the
title
one
of
that we
show.
saw at the Chamber Show.
Exactly. So that was our first show of the season. And yeah, and that's my daughter, very excited for the theater. We have our castings up on our website, and anyone can get an audition time. If for musicals, we ask that you sing about 30 seconds of a song, and then for straight plays, we usually just give sides. So it's really low stress. I know that auditioning is stressful. Personally, you know, I was an actor before I was a producer, and auditioning is stressful. And then when you get into the job, then it's fun, right? But so I try to make auditions as, you know, easy and carefree and enjoyable as possible. You know, we work with the actors, trying different things, and then it's just a great time. It's a great place, and people want to be there, which is just so exciting.
Well, it looks like you have a lot of different people that come to
so,
try out.
Yeah, so this is from the Black and White Ball. We were Alice in Wonderland. They had themes in the rooms, and they asked for actors. So Eli, who's actually right there. So Jane on the right is our costume designer, and Eli on the left, he was in Guys and Dolls, and he's also in The Drowsy Chaperone. So we do have returning actors as well. That's the United States Coast Guard Band, who performed in January.
Yes, my mother-in-law went to that show, and she raved about it.
Oh, it was just so wonderful,
You know,
and just to have them so
such
close
a great
to
job.
us. Yeah.
I've seen the Coast Guard Band play a few times over at the Coast Guard Academy, and it's really good. I like the 1812 Overture with the cannon blasting away in the background. It's pretty cool. But look, you got auditions.
Yeah, so we have auditions next weekend for Sleuth. And then in September we'll have auditions for our Christmas show, and that's it for the year, which is insane to me. We audition about 13 weeks before the shows, so that there's plenty of time to rehearse. Because our actors are local, most of them have day jobs. You know, our lead role in Drowsy Chaperone, she's a research scientist at the aquarium. So she works during the day and then comes to rehearsal at night, and it allows us to be flexible with rehearsals as well. So
it's pretty much anybody that wants to be on the stage.
you could come. You
check
could
it
come.
out, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. You mentioned that you have a camp
Yeah,
for kids.
Yeah, we have a summer camp for kids a week out of the year. So this year we're doing August 5th through August 9th. And then since I'm producing the Mystic Outdoor Art Festival, performing art stage again, the kids from camp are actually going to perform at the Outdoor Art Festival on August 10th.
Oh,
which is great.
They have a special part for the children over at the
they have the children's art
the
park.
Mystic Outdoor Art Festival, and I know Bruce Flax and his crew over there. They do an amazing job putting that art festival on. But so, what are you going to be doing over there?
So every year since 2021, we have had a performing arts stage. So this year, different members of the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce who are in the performing arts have a time slot. It's Saturday, August 10th, and so the Granite's performing. We're going to be doing the summer camp, show. And then we'll also be doing a bit of Rumpelstiltskin, which is our Theater for Young Audiences show that we'll have at the theater in August. But then the Guard Arts Center will be sending someone. The La Grua has someone. Connecticut Lyric Opera has a group,
At La Grua, he was on the show a little while back, and it just, their masterpiece music.
Yeah.
The pianos that they have there, and I mean, it just.
I saw those.
We also
pianos,
saw Nicole Zaritis 5 days after she won a Grammy Award up here at the La Grua, because they had booked her
before
months
the
in
Grammy.
advance, and it was her first
them.
appearance, after winning a Grammy. And there's maybe 150 people that could be at the La Grua Center.
Right.
And,
yeah.
We bought our tickets in advance, and
Good for you.
It was a great show, and she was so happy because she's from Connecticut, and she was so happy to be performing in Connecticut for the first time after winning a Grammy. But she had these musicians that were with her from New York City. They're just amazing.
It honestly is amazing. And honestly, the local talent here has been shocking to me. My husband is a blues and boogie woogie pianist. He's performed all over the world. And every time he comes home from doing a show, he's like, yeah, they were amazing. The musicians were amazing. And I promise you that was not his reaction in New York City. So it's like really exciting. He gets to play at the Knickerbocker all the time. He's actually in Ottawa, Canada right now, performing at a blues festival. So just this area in the arts it's just spectacular, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And
I help out a little local band, Shandy and the Whip. That getting them gigs at different places, but they have a ball. They have more fun doing it than going out to do it for for pay.
Right.
I mean, they like to pay, but
right,
but getting back to the audition, you said that it's a little nerve-wracking to start with, but what do you do to help people make their mark as an actor?
Yeah, so I mean, specifically in auditions, I just try to get them to calm down, right? Because I know that a lot of people don't audition well, right? It's nerve-wracking. Because you're begging someone to like you, essentially, right? Whereas when you're an actor and you're on stage, then it's the character, and you're putting on, a face. But still in the audition process, you're begging for the chance to be on stage. So it's just about trying different things, being silly, right? Getting them to do something that totally might not even make sense for the character, but for me as a director, I want to make sure that they can take direction. Mm-hmm. So that's important to me. So, I mean, if they try to balance on their head, and I'm like, great, that's what I wanted.
Well, you being a director, you've got all these different things that you've got to work on, and we've got a video about backstage and what goes into producing one of these shows. So, Mike and Bridget, if you can run that for us, that'd be great. So we're over at the Granite Theatre in Westerly. Here we go.
Beautiful curtain.
Yeah.
Say yes. So yeah, we have about 3 weeks between shows. So that gives us 3 weeks to build a completely new set. Luckily we just moved storage units to we used to have 3 smaller storage units, and we moved to this nice big storage unit. So all of our stuff is in one, and it has a nice open space so that our set crew can actually start building things off-site. And this is actually backstage right. As you can see, I'm really trying to get organized. All of those curtains are labeled with their sizes, but it wasn't like that when I came in, so I'm still working on making sure I know where everything is. As you can see, one of those was a kid, getting community service hours. That's our costume designer trying to grab something that was accidentally.
That's a different outfit than we saw in earlier.
Yes, exactly. And here we're taking out seats because for our town, we needed a lot of the action happened in the theater. The house lights were on for most of the show, so we took out seats and put some on stage. So it was more of like a theater in the round kind of experience, which was great. We spent a lot of money on paint. And this is just showing theatrical lighting. We don't have any of these stands. This is like something that we did for camp.
Okay.
And costumes. So we have a ton of costumes at our storage unit, but in general, we still need to purchase for every show or rent. This is a table read, so this is the first rehearsal of title of show, so everyone sits with their books and says the words out loud. We also do have someone that does our hair and makeup, and she styles wigs, which is spectacular. She's a local hairstylist and just someone who is interested in being a part of the theater.
Gotta study your lines before you go out.
Studying lines backstage. Hopefully that's not during a show. But
You get makeup and everything else.
yeah. So our hair and makeup person, she will teach every actor how to do their makeup, especially, the Drowsy Chaperone takes place in the 20s, so that's very specific hair and makeup. Both Harvey and 1940s Radio Christmas Carol take place in the 40s, which is also very specific. So, and all of these positions, quote unquote positions, are volunteer. So our set crew, our set build crew, they are volunteer, and it's just, who has time today to help build a set? And I have a list of volunteers, and I just send an email out and I ask, who might happen to be available. We just get a bunch of different people show up, and if they come once, it's awesome. If they come 20 times, it's awesome. But, just some people are looking for an excuse to get out, and if they like it, they can stay, and it's great. And then just ask me, like, what can I do next, which I absolutely love,
I'm sure. We're always asking because we do so much with so many of the nonprofits in the area, and they're always looking for volunteers and they're looking for support. Is there, other than your email, is there another way that you try to get people to come in, or do you have enough people?
No,
on your list already?
always looking for more people. And there's a place on our website that says support or get involved, and you can sign up in any area of interest, right? And there are so many areas of interest in the theater, and I don't think people understand that, because even I went to school, as an actor for musical theater, and it wasn't until I started working professionally that I realized how many different roles are in the theater, and it's not just acting. So we have people that are stage managing, who they are the literal boss. They call the entire show, and when I say call, it means that they say, okay, light cue 20, go. Sound cue 13, go. And then we have someone who runs the sound, and we have someone who runs the lights, and then we have designers. So we have people before the show goes up that actually, pick all the different sound cues that will be in the show, or the lighting cues. We have a ton of instruments, and it's really fascinating. And then even people that are like, I am interested in lights, but I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I do. I love to teach it, So just as a fun experience. It's great. And I'm always looking for volunteers, because I also don't want to burn out my volunteers.
Yeah, okay.
Like, please help me out today.
Bridget's father was involved with lighting in
Really?
something up in, they were up in the, not Providence, but Pawtucket area, and there was a theater close by that he used to help out with lighting, and I think her mother was on stage a little bit, but I'll have to ask her when I get home, you know.
Yeah.
So, but they, you know, they loved it, you know, and like I said, she really enjoyed the Coast Guard trio that was at the Granite Theatre this past year. And do you do anything at the Granite Theatre other than plays? I mean, are places able to rent out space
Yeah,
from
absolutely. So there are a few shows that we brought in, including, you know, the Coast Guard band. Crossing, which was one of those pictures, was two local writers wrote a musical.
Mm-hmm.
So they pitched me their show. We're doing 12th Night in the fall, but the Granite isn't producing it, right? There's another
okay.
theater company that they don't have their own space, so they're coming in to use our theater when we're dark, right? So it's after Sleuth and before Christmas, 1940s Radio Christmas Carol. So like things like that, I will, things that we are selling to our audience, I vet, right? So I read, obviously I've read 12th Night, but like I'll read the shows, I'll listen to the shows, I'll have the producers pitch me on their ideas, and then we collaborate and, you know, co-produce in the sense of like the marketing of it. But then there's also, you can literally just rent the theater. We had a group that was filming a short video rent the theater recently.
Mm-hmm.
A school group in the when was it? Maybe January, February, they rented the space for like a thesis project that they filmed. And we've had it rented for birthday parties, so yeah, you can absolutely rent the theater to an audience or just for yourself.
Well, I notice you have sponsors too.
Yes.
You know, I'm sure you go through Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce, and you know, when you had the whole group come in, and you know, I was there because I was representing the Stonington Little League as a member of the Chamber of Commerce. But the sponsors are, for any of these nonprofits that we bring on the show, it's so important. If you know of anybody that, you know, is in a position to help out, please give Granite Theatre a call, you know. So.
Yeah, we sell ad space, and a quarter-page ad in our program for an entire year is only $250. It's a steal.
Mm-hmm.
But we are a nonprofit, and our tickets are $25 to $35 depending on the show. So that's not how we're making money, right? And I mentioned this the other day, and someone was shocked, so I will mention it now. But the Drowsy Chaperone, just to put on the show, licensing, has nothing to do with us buying costumes or sets or anything. It costs $10,000.
Wow.
So there are so many fees that go into just putting on a show that any sort of sponsorship, donations is so huge for us. And then again, volunteers, you know, if you can't donate money, please, the time is just as important, right?
Well, Nicole, thank you so much, and we're out of time here, so thank you so much for coming over and telling us all about the Granite Theatre. And we hope you enjoyed the show, Nautical Tales and Nature Trails. We'll see you next time.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channels at Mystic 2 Westerly and at SEC TV 1. Please join our group on Facebook and like my Facebook page. Let me explain Mystic to Westerly to you. Mystic is actually part Groton and part Stonington. Stonington Borough and Pawcatuck are also part of Stonington. 2 towns, 2 states make one community. Watch Hill and Misquamicut Beach are part of Westerly. Connecticut Route 2 starts in Pawcatuck, goes through North Stonington, into Ledyard, and Preston, to Norwich. It goes across the river into Uncasville, and more of New London County on its way to Hartford. New London County is also home to Waterford, East Lyme, Niantic, and Old Lyme. Basically, we enjoy living in southeastern Connecticut and southern Rhode Island. Thank you for watching Nautical Tales and Nature Trails. We hope you enjoyed it.